Hi everyone, it's Muneeza. It is Saturday morning. I love beautiful Saturday mornings where the weather's like 60 degrees again. It's cooler and it's just this beautiful cool weather and it's still not, cold, so it's nicer than, it just feels easier than 90 degrees, which we've also had. I mean, it's hard to sit and live stream at 90 degrees. I think I did it the other day and I watched myself get pinker and pinker and pinker on the screen, and that was kind of interesting. Um, and yeah, how are you guys doing this Saturday morning? Let me know. Hi, Kathy Loso. Good morning, Denise. Um, it's so good to say hello to all of you. Yvonne Norlander, hi. How's it all going? So, yeah, this morning, one of the questions that we get a lot of. Good morning, Megan, Esther. How are you guys doing? Candace, hello. Shayna, you have one eye open. I feel like that too. I feel like my eyes are like swollen this morning. I went to bed a little bit later than I usually do, and like around 1 a.m. And I also did something yesterday that I haven't done in a while. Like I had something cooked because um, I'm yesterday it turned like 50 degrees here after being so warm for so long. Hi, Alyssa, Susan, Margaret. Hi, Margaret. Monica, good morning. And it turned 50 degrees here and rainy and wet. And so I was out with my kids for their school stuff that's happening, towards the end of school. They have all these activities and things and picnics and potlucks. So I was at the school with them and we were outside, and then I came home and I had been eating raw all day and I hadn't eaten much. So because I was on the go, like I had two apples, I had two pears, I had a bunch of little things here and there, nothing too substantial. And I had like I had a whole watermelon, but I couldn't drink too much juice because I was on the go and I didn't want to have to run into a problem when I was on the go. So I just did, and it was cooler, so I didn't feel like having it. So this so last night when I came home, I made like a potato asparagus soup. And good morning, Rhonda. Um, Yvonne says, "How can I finally get off the plateau I'm on? I don't get a gram off." Yes, we're going to talk about that. Jody from the UK. Hello. How are you? Good to see some of the European people coming on this morning. That's why we do this one at 9 o'clock, so that Rhonda, good morning, so that we can capture the audience in Europe. Alexis, good morning. Um, yeah, so I have an interesting topic for you all today. Uh, everyone, we all worry about our weight, right? Either we're underweight and we worry about that, and or we're overweight and we worry about that. And I think more of us worry about being heavier um, than being lighter. But the people who are lighter and are worried about their weight, they also do worry. They worry that they don't want to lose more weight. And I always talk about, and I don't usually give weight a lot of credence. So I'll say, well, weight is just it's sort of a side effect of everything else that we're doing. So I get people to focus on that and away from weight loss. I'm like, you want to think about making your body healthier, your organs healthier, your spleen, your liver, your adrenals, your thyroid healthier, so that all of that will get taken care of um, with the that will take care of the weight issue, because it is a side effect. And we sometimes have toxic weight. You know how Anthony always says, you should really, you never know where the healing energy in your body is going to go. And so the healing energy in your body can sometimes be directed towards, if you have gut issues, for example, and you're like got SIBO and you've got constipation or irritable bowel syndrome, or you've got celiac disease, or you've got, colitis, ulcerative colitis, and all those gut issues, ammonia permeability, and say you've got like huge gut discomfort, and you start the protocol to start healing your gut, and you start to notice improvements in the pain level in your body. Say, things that areas that used to be a little achy aren't achy anymore, or different areas of our bodies can be suffering. So sometimes we're like, well, the gut hasn't changed at all, but my pain is a little better, like I feel better in my body. Or we see people who are struggling with neurological issues, and they'll start the protocol and they're like, well, I'm still brain fogged. And if you're brain fogged, it's hard to know how brain fogged you are, because it's hard to tell how bad it is. So if it improves a little bit, you may not fully notice it because of the brain fog. But sometimes we miss that. But what I'm trying to say is that our healing energy is directed by the human body. It's directed, this body and this intelligence, this divine intelligence that our body is, the cellular structure, the infinite communication that our body has with God and with the universe at all times, in all places, is that universal intelligence knows when to heal us, how to heal us, and in what order to heal us. So that's why I tell people not to worry about weight, because really weight loss is a part of that equation. Usually it's when the inner organs have healed enough, then the weight will move. So it's usually one of the later things to move. But also, if you've been doing protocols, like many of you have been doing protocols for so long, and you're struggling to lose weight on the protocols, that's a different place to go. Like if you're overweight and you've never done protocols before, then just starting to do protocols can help you shed some weight. Now, some of us who aren't all that heavy to begin with will put on weight when we start protocols. And I know many, many, many of you have noticed that. Like I literally have had women get angry at me on the phone and be like, Muneeza, I'm not eating anything. I'm eating nuts and seeds and fruits and vegetables, and I am putting on weight around my belly. I have never had weight around my belly before. And they're mad. And, they're mad because, they think that really it'll get easier, it'll get better. Like you start this protocol and you think, I'm gonna lose weight, I have to. But the thing that we don't realize is that the body has its intelligence. It has an intelligence, and the problem is we are so focused on low weight being the good thing that we don't realize that maybe the intelligence in our body that is pushing the weight up also has a very good reason for existing. Also, being able to put on the weight is something that is vital for our survival, that we wouldn't be able to heal the inner organs without first putting on that weight. Can you guys see that? Can you guys can you get with me here? Let me know if it's making sense, right? Because it can be really hard to, heal from within if we're constantly battling what our body looks like on the outside. Constantly battling, trusting our body's intelligence. Now I am going to talk about how to lose the weight, right? I don't want you guys to think, oh, this is just another lecture on trusting my body. And Alexa says my weight has fluctuated so much throughout my life. It has, mine too. I've been everything from a size 2 to a size 14 and everything in between. And, when you hit Sarah Milligan says, okay, so I'm going to back up on some of your questions. Why the belly fat only? Yes, the liver toxins get stored in belly fat, and so it will clear and heal. And the one way to go deeper on weight loss is to really focus on what can you do to take that liver to the next level. Super powerful. That's what the cleanse will help you do. The cleanse will help you take your liver healing so much to the next level that you will be able to drop weight from the liver weight that you're carrying. Okay. All right, let's go back on some of these questions here. Lone says, what's the cause of birthmarks? It's the cause of anything that happens on your skin. It's from the liver, usually. Um, Nicholas, hi Muneeza, blessings upon you and yours. May your day be filled with the many glories of God. May love and light always proceed from you and be within you. So much gratitude for you and your mission to help humanity. Your sacrifice is beautiful. Nicholas, thank you. That really touched me. Thank you so much for that reflection. Megan says, I'm still glowing from that. I recently had times when my breathing becomes shallow and I get butterflies in my stomach. Happened last night when I was sitting on the couch. Yeah, that's neurological, honey. So that's a neurological condition. As you're healing, different neurological conditions can show up, but it's not something that should last a long time, I don't think. Okay, Denise says, I'm new to you. I was recommended to follow your page. Thank you. Look for my private message and feel free to check my page beforehand. Cool. Denise, the best way to get a hold of us is through our office in muneezaahmed.com. That's from where we respond to all messages. So I know a lot of people message us on Facebook, but we redirect them to our office, and I'm sure you got that redirection too. We just don't want to miss your email, so make sure you send it over to the right place. Connie says, yes, weight has fluctuated, makes so much sense. Okay, so Denise says, hard to let go emotionally of my physical appearance. It is hard because we are wired that our physical appearance is important. We're wired. It's a natural part of our wiring. I mean, when a man sees a woman who's got a small waist, in his biological brain, and I'm not talking about, how we talk about men always being attracted to women and, that they're all about sex. It's not about that. It's about biological wiring. So let's talk about that. So when a man sees a woman with a small waist, to him, that indicates that she's not pregnant. Therefore, she is a potential mate to procreate with. I want you all to understand the basic focus of nature is procreation in every way, shape, and form. It is procreate, procreate, procreate. Plants do it. They do it through their natural cycle of creating their seeds and bursting the seeds out, and then the flower is the sexual organ of the plant. So plants do it, mushrooms do it, animals do it, and humans do it. And so we are wired to connect with our physical appearance because our physical appearance is reflective of our health and our ability to procreate. That's why we're so tuned in. Denise, don't be so hard on yourself. Physical appearance, humans have had to do the most work of any animal to come to terms with physical appearance. Other animals don't care because they only follow their instincts, so they only eat by instinct, they only live by instinct, and we have gone far away from our instincts, and we have become sick as a global population. We have had tons of viral conditions affecting us, and we have had to come to terms with the fact that we may not have our normal appearances, right? So we're not meant to be overweight. We're not meant to be having fat rolls on our bellies. We're meant to be leaner creatures in general. And I think that that's just a biological wiring. So when you say it's hard to let go of your physical appearance, emotionally speaking, but it's going to be hard because it's wired, right? We can learn to not be so caught up with it, but we're going to get caught up with it because it's just how we're wired. I hope that makes sense. So weight loss. The only time I have really lost weight in a healthy way is to go raw. And going raw all day. And the time that I lost the most toxic weight that I had on my body for years and years and years, like I'm talking since I was a teenager, happened when I started juicing. And this is what I wanted to teach you guys on the raw cleanse, because while many people get triggered by the fact that it's raw or the fact that it's intuitive or the fact that it's not for them for any other reason, the healthiest way to go cleaner on your diet, healthiest way to clean up the organs, especially if you've been on protocols for a while. Now, if you haven't been on protocols for a while, it may not happen that way for you. But if you've been on protocols for a while and you're still struggling with that weight loss, then diet is the key. Like diet, what can you do? So going more fat-free, doing the 28-day cleanse. And sometimes even people with a 28-day cleanse don't lose as much as they hope to because the liver's still struggling and letting go. That should tell you, instead of going, oh my God, frustration that I can't lose the weight. Oh my God, my liver must be so toxic and sluggish and slow that it's, even spite of not eating fat for a while, my body is struggling. And, that's a struggle. That's a real struggle. That's been my struggle. And, been eating clean for a long time and not seeing a single pound, even half a pound, budge on the scale. And did I get frustrated? Not as much frustrated, but more like sad. I'm like, how long is this going to take? All right, I'm going to keep going. All right. And so having to give yourself that self boost, that can be hard. Fortunately, I had some great friends who would be like, look, you're eating perfectly. It's going to move at some point. There's no way it won't. And also dealing with a nervous system where even though I wanted to go all raw before, during those times where my nervous system was really struggling and my adrenals were struggling, and couldn't do it. I mean, I knew how to do it, and I've done it so many times before in my life, but couldn't do it. It's a struggle, right? So the other part of the struggle is, I thought of juicing, and the thought of juicing would scare me, even though, again, I've done it. I've done it more than once in my life, just gone straight on juice and had great results, but just it's sort of maintaining that, because if you do juice and then you go back to eating the same way, you just put the weight back on. So you have to be really carefully crafting how you eat so that you can long-term get to where you want to be and get to the goals that you want to have for your body, for your organs. And you always have to think in terms of, what are my organs doing? What are my organs feeling? And this is really the biggest piece of the weight loss puzzle, okay, is your body will do it at the time when it's ready, right? So you can't force it, you can't push it. And when it's ready, it will come off. And you have to eat, you have to know how to eat right at that time so that when it's ready to come off, it will start to peel away. And sometimes it peels in layers, and sometimes you'll lose like 10 pounds and you can't lose any more. So you just have to be patient. And and that's where people lose it. Most people will lose it in that, I did the 10 pounds already and now I'm on a plateau and I'm fed up and it's not moving anymore. And so they go back to eating, and then they'll put on some of that weight, and then they get even more down and depressed on themselves. And women do this a lot. So I just wanted to lay out that patterning for you so that you don't completely feel at a loss with weight loss, because it is a side effect of what you have going on for your body, and it's something that you have to really understand. You have to be consistent for a long time sometimes in order to be able to lose it. And some women will lose it really fast, but some women, and for those of you who feel like you're losing too much, that's also not an issue most of the time, right? It's sort of something like you're thinking, oh my God, I'll lose too much weight and I don't want to become too thin. Sometimes you need to. I went down to this, like literally like size 2. I weighed 100 and I hate numbers, but I'll give you numbers so you can visualize it. Like I weighed 100 and I want to say 119 pounds. Okay. It was like stick thin. Nobody around me liked it. My husband didn't like it. My parents didn't like it. They're like, oh my God, what happened to you? Like, you look gaunt. And my mom was like, all the freshness from your face is gone. Like, your glow is gone. Everything's gone. And I actually felt really good in my body. I felt really, 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 really energized. I had so much more energy than I'd ever had before. So I knew that I wasn't completely off the beaten path here. But my body went down to that weight, and then it came up to like 120, 30 pounds. And for a good few years, I maintained that weight. And that's where you want to be eventually. That's before my third pregnancy. So that's where you want to be eventually, is where you can be at a weight where it's consistent and you feel good in it. And the weight shouldn't really be going up and down. So if your weight is going up and down, then you have a problem. Then there's a problem in the liver. These are all signs of something not being truly stable within you. Okay, so Alexis says, most of my symptoms after taking the Z-Pack included severe anxiety, heart racing, blah, 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 blah. That's more viral. Those are all viral neurological conditions, Alexis. So your virus got triggered like into like a stage 4 EBV, or like shingles just woke up, whatever it has have you going on. Hi, Kaneen. Jane says, if I can't join the cleanse, can you give me a few tips to get the liver supercharged 18 months in? Just gave it to you. You need to go more fat-free. I don't know what you're already doing, but it's really important. Rhonda says, so that explains my belly fat. I'm working on detoxing the liver. There's light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah, and also you'll have support if you do the cleanse. I mean, we're going to be working through all of these issues together. There's so many women in there already talking about their goals and what they want to achieve, and we're like, okay, we're going to help you make a plan, and everyone's different. I have a woman in there who is already on the 28-day cleanse, and she was worried about, some of the fat in the recipes, and I said, look, not everybody is where you are. If where you are, we're adding 2 bonuses. So if you sign up, you'll get 2 more bonuses. One is a booklet of a handout with all fat-free dressings. So if you're wanting to go more fat-free, you get more options with that. And then the other one is if you're worried about going too raw or not able to do it. So we created the bonuses just to address the concerns of people who are not sure if this is for them. And the other one is a booklet of warming recipes. So cooked foods that you can bring in if you're feeling like it's too much. So there's something for people on both ends of that spectrum, and you can meet in the middle and create your own program, right? Okay, so Samantha says, is there periodic bruising on and in the belly button related to the liver? Any type of bruising is. Angie says, what can you put on a rash topically that's on the neck, itchy and burns, possibly spreading? Poison ivy, oak. Aloe would be my first choice. You're already doing that. And if it is poison ivy and it's something environmental, you might want to try homeopathic rust tox. Lone said, I've lost fat in the belly and breasts, but gained weight. I think it's because I'm not dehydrated anymore. Maybe so. Yeah, there's many reasons. Like weight is not just fat. Weight is more from water. Water is heavy. If you've ever carried a bucket of water, water is heavy. It's heavier than fat. Fat is lighter and more, it has more, less density than water does. It floats on it. Alexis says, what causes excessive dry thirst in the middle of the night and first upon rising? It's a combination of adrenals and liver being really out of whack, or really in the depths of healing, because that can happen at various points when you're healing, but it's definitely a liver thing. Carla says, medical medium said that the combination of fat and sugar is really hard on the liver and causes weight gain. Exactly. All combinations of fat and sugar cause that? Yes. Even the healthy ones like coconut and dates or coconut yogurt and honey, they can. If you're really struggling, if you're really super struggling with weight loss, you're going to have to cut out the fat sugar combination. So the fat sugar combination is a deadly one, really. And if you think about all traditional meals all over the world, they all combine fat and sugar. I'll give you examples, like fish and chips in the UK, right? Fried fish, fried chips, starch, and a fat. Some people will say protein. I don't say protein. I say fat because it's more fat than it is protein. Like in India and Pakistan, like a chicken biryani. Biryani is this dish with spicy curry chicken mixed with rice. And so it's, again, protein and fat and starches. And then if you look at, all the traditional foods, there's always like this combination of rice or potatoes or bread with meat or eggs or dairy. And it's deadly. All of our traditional foods are like that. And when people say, oh, these are traditional foods and people have been eating them for a long time or over long periods of time, we've really messed up our livers, and that's been passed on from generation to generation. Like that's why babies are now born with sluggish livers. It's not just one generation of that happening, right? It is multiple generations of that happening. Does that make sense? So like if you're dealing with a weight issue, it's not yours. It's it's been traveling for a long time into your life. Um, Jody, when are we going to, when are we doing the cleanse? Do we take supplements during this time? You can if you want to. It's not always something that we focus on, but if you're already on supplements, you can keep taking them. And if people are new to the protocol and they want to do different things, then I recommend some baseline supplements. But if you're already on a program, then I wouldn't worry about it. Um, Jody says, what causes insect-like sensations on the face? Yes, a virus on your nerves, always, according to medical medium. Yeah, it can be shingles usually. California poppy can help. There's lots of supplements can help. I mean, even knocking out the shingles in any way, shape, or form can be super helpful. Connie says, I love how you come up on my newsfeed with the information I need. Liver issues from iron loading, heavy metals, adrenals, working on those toxins, been juicing for years. How long does it take to heal? Connie, I'm not sure exactly what you've been doing. I know people say they've been juicing for years, but I have to know more about that, like more detail about, and I can't really go into that detail over here, but this is something that in the cleanse, we can definitely go into more. Like you could explain exactly what you've done for years and we can make modifications and adjustments to them. Because I could suggest things here and I'd be like, why don't you try this? And you'd be like, yeah, I already did that. And I could try, we go back and forth like that. But it really depends on the individual. There's some people who heal in like 3 or 6 months. And then there's some people who take much longer to heal. Most of us who are dealing with more severe issues take longer to heal. That tends to be like the general rule of thumb. Alexis says, I don't know why. I fear juicing because I'm scared of symptoms I may experience. I juice, but I've never done a whole day. I'm not sure how to transition into it and out of it. Alexis, that's what we're teaching. That's exactly what I'm teaching. And I was sharing with people the other day, I spent so much time in private sessions explaining this to people. So I decided to do it as a group because that would save me time, get other people the information all at once so that everybody has it and everybody knows it and can experience, and then go try it out. And then you buddy up with people and you experiment and you figure out what works for you. And we'll give you strategies on how to take you through it slowly, how to work it out, and all of that good stuff. She said, yes, nervous system and adrenals are shot, but slowly healing. I think it would be rapidly improved with raw and juicing. It would. And if you can do it on your own, that's great. If you need support, the cleanse is perfect. Yvonne says, hey, good day. Lemon and water in the morning, does it help? Yes, it's one of the most important things that Anthony recommends every morning on an empty stomach to do lemon water and with honey, warm lemon water or cold lemon water with or without honey. It's a great tool. Okay. It alone may not help you lose pounds, but it's super helpful in general. Okay. Rhonda says, if we have adrenals issues, is it safe to do a 21-day cleanse? Yes, because it's designed to work with people who have that going on. Like it's designed to, I had adrenal issues and I had to learn how to go raw. So it's designed to work with those conditions as well, which is why we modify it in so many ways for the people who struggle with it. Yeah, Alexis, exactly. Have you heard of Byron White formula for Lyme? I've heard of it. I don't recall the ingredients off the top of my head. Yeah, I only really recommend medical medium supplements because really Spirit tells Anthony about those supplements, and so that's why we follow them. Only Spirit knows what happens to food and supplements once they hit our stomachs, right? We have no idea. We have no way of knowing that information. How would we know that? Even science doesn't know that. I don't even think anyone would ever really figure it out. What happens when stuff hits our stomachs and our guts and they start to get absorbed? So we only follow medical medium recommended supplements for that reason. Only spirit knows. Renee says, how do you know what is neurological? What are the symptoms? Renee, a lot of symptoms like that are nerve, you can have nerve pain, you can have brain fog, memory loss. Those are neurological. You can have neurological asthma. You can have neurological changes in the heart rate. You can have pain. You can have numbness, tingling. There's so many symptoms. Those are tend to be all neurological symptoms. Iona, good morning. I would love to know your opinion about the Simple Mills sprouted seed crackers. I know they contain sunflower oil, and I've been craving them for a few weeks. What about cooked chickpeas? I've been raw vegan for years, but craving different foods. I feel that I need to incorporate a little cooked food day for a few days a week. You can do that. I mean, I think Simple Mills are great for, you have to go between what's worse. Is the grain worse? Have a grain cracker with no sunflower oil in it, or is it better to have something that's grain free with a little sunflower oil in it? And sunflower oil isn't perfect, but I mean, if you're dealing with strep conditions and you're dealing with strep and you can't eat grain and it's feeding it, or you're reacting to grain, then Simple Meals is a great option for when you're on the go. Like, I don't recommend that you eat it every day when you're home. I recommend these foods for when you're traveling, for when you're on the go, for when you have a party, for when there's special occasions, for when, you need to get your kid to do something. I know maybe you don't have children, but yeah, they're not the perfect choice, but they are a great choice for those types of situations. So if you want to have something more cooked, I would go with more steamed veggies and steamed potatoes and things like that if you want to incorporate something cooked. Sarah said, exact same thing happened to me, lost 15 pounds. Everyone said it looked bad, but I felt awesome. Gained it back and feel awful. Yeah, so, I mean, I lost, when at this point, I had gone from a size 12 to a size 2. So the change was drastic. People were like, what the heck are you doing? Are you okay? Like, someone asked me if I had cancer. I'm like, no, I do not. I'm just, and the thing was, like, I had carried all this toxic waste for years in my life, years. It would not come out. There were places in my body that weight never budged for like 30 years. And then finally, when I was able to juice, it came all off. I could feel parts of my body I never felt before. I'm like, oh my God, like, look, there's like this side of my hip I can feel, which always had so much like, like juice on it. And anyway, I just wanted to say that it's, you can get to a point where you can stabilize it, and learning how to stabilize your weight is something we're going to talk about. That's the sign of ultimate healing, really. Anna, I would like to eat raw or mostly raw, but I'm quite thin, hungry most of the time. Even now with steamed potatoes, sweet potatoes, veggies, afraid to lose more weight, cannot afford the amount of fruits that would make me not hungry. And spirulina, I think I'm extremely oversensitive, had half a teaspoon with my smoothie, but got deadly tired. Could hardly stand up, cook, so I had to stop. Really, I think that the spirulina is probably pulling out a lot of metals, so I would do a pinch. I wouldn't do more than that if you're that sensitive to it. And if you're hungry most of the time, then you got to eat calories. You just have to keep eating. And there's people who are like that. And that's what it's going to take to restore your system. And once your nervous system is restored, because that's what's off, then go raw. I wouldn't recommend that you go completely raw right now, but you could do raw for half a day and go from there. You know, I mean, you're saying you can't afford the amount of fruits that it would take to not make you hungry. For example, bananas are not expensive. Apples are not that expensive. Pears are not that expensive. Now that they're in season, the mangoes also are not too expensive, and papayas are not that expensive. If you did a combination of fruit, I'm not understanding like how much you're thinking of spending on fruit, but like if you bought like 4 bunches of bananas, that's not a lot of money, but that's a lot of good calories. We can combine them with celery or combine them with cucumber, or dates. Even a few dates would help. So, but if you want more direction, then I would join the cleanse, because we're going to give you that direction 100%. That is what it's designed for. So please check it out. So is it the viruses really wreak havoc on the liver and adrenals? Yes, they do. So many of my issues started with Z-Pak, and from what you're saying, it triggers a virus into stage 4. It can. It depends where the stage is. Like if you're at mono, stage 2, it won't trigger it into stage 4 necessarily, but it can for some people. Megan, what are your thoughts on maca? Like, Anthony doesn't recommend maca. All right. So Lizzie says, my gums are receding badly in my mouth. I have mouth gum tea sensitivity. What do you suggest? I suggest some celery juice every morning when you wake up and in the evening before you go to bed, because your teeth and gums are hurting because you have bad acids coming up from the gut, and so you have to heal the gut first. Natalie says, what's a good breakfast for an overweight 14-year-old? I would start the morning with celery juice and lemon water and some fruit. That would be the first place to go. Lizzie says, I have active mono and active Lyme and immune deficiency. I'm too skinny. I'm trying to eat potato, squash, and still losing weight. The weight loss is probably because you're losing something toxic. You have to trust that your body, if you're eating exactly this way, then you have to trust that your body's intelligence is taking care of the weight in the way it knows how to. So I explained this at the beginning when I was first talking on the live today. I don't know if you were there to hear it, but I was really talking about the body's intelligence. So if you're losing weight on a really, really clean diet, then you have to trust that. And I lost lots of pounds on a juice diet, but I knew that it was the right thing for me. And I knew that I wasn't hurting my body by doing juice, right? By drinking juice. I mean, I've got my yellow watermelon juice right here. Watermelon juice. So those fruits and vegetables cannot hurt you. If you're losing weight on fruits and vegetables, then you're on the right track. You just have to trust that. Okay? Cynthia Nelson, good morning. Angie says, thank you so much for what you do and willing to give the gifts. Really, thank you. Monica, what should I do first in the AM, celery juice or lemon water? I would start with lemon water and then the celery juice. And then you can take the turmeric with your lemon water, no problem. Dia says, what are your thoughts on nut allergies? Skin and blood tests confirmed allergy, but I also understand they can be false positive. I signed up for the cleanse. Yeah, so if you have nut allergies, then you are not, Anthony says that you cannot really truly be allergic to a fruit, a vegetable, or a nut or a seed. Fruits and vegetables usually are creating reactions. There are healing reactions in the body. So, and they can be false positive. So I have a lot of kids that I work with that were tested and were allergic to nuts or allergic to seeds. And then as they heal, some of those allergies can go away. Even I've seen kids who've had anaphylactic reactions and they have reduced in intensity. They still have them, but you can heal from it. And Dia, you don't have to worry about protein. There's protein in every fruit and vegetable, every single one. And it's in everything. So when you see a I don't know, like 100-pound gorilla, they're like this massive animals that are so muscular. They're all completely lean. You know what gorillas eat? They eat bananas most of the time. And so you have to ask them, so where does gorillas are vegetarian, vegan, really. Where do they get their protein from? They get it from fruits. They get it from vegetables, but mostly from fruits. So fruits build muscle, and it's a misnomer. There's so many vegan athletes, right? And very few of them eat a lot of nuts and seeds. Most of them eat a lot of fruit. Anthony works with a lot of world-class athletes and Olympians, and he talks about how that's just he talks about how the Olympians are, they know their bodies, they know their performance gets affected when they eat too much fat. So they eat mostly fruit and carbohydrate, which is what makes them perform well. And so it's not even a protein question, it's a carbohydrate question. Okay, so you'll be fine on it. You don't need those things to be healthy. So Alexis, I'm sorry, this question is super long and also required me to do like a deeper read, which I cannot do right now. I when I read, just so you understand, like I go into like I meditate, I focus on a person and to give that depth of an answer, and I can't do that right now. Um, Also, what that does is opens me up to a lot more stuff that can, come at me. So I can't do those lives when I'm in that state. I have to be in a different sort of state to do them. But my intuition still works. I can answer questions that are more like high level, but when it's super in depth, then it's harder to. These questions that you're explaining here, I can answer them more on the cleanse because I do actually do the work when I answer them on the live calls. I usually get the questions submitted ahead of time and I can go deeper into them and connect with you and respond. Okay. Um, Hello, Christine. Annette says, I've really had bad insomnia since Easter, and it seems to be easing a little now. The feeling is my liver is detoxing. Yeah, most likely you're detoxing some heavy metals, you're detoxing some sluggishness out of the liver, which is fantastic. Lizzie says, I have the last stage of EBV. Can I heal from that? Yes, you can. Yes, you can heal from all of it, Lizzie. You have to just know the right protocols. You have to be on the right, and I know that probably you're on the right diet, but you need to be on the right supplement protocols also. Okay. Kaneen says, is OSHA recommended for antiviral? OSHA is antiviral, antibacterial too. So yes, it can be. It depends what you're needing it for. Alexis says, why are so many kids allergic to peanuts? Why are peanuts not good for us? There's a ton of molds on peanuts. So people react to those, and molds are like over 400 types of molds on peanuts. So peanuts are an allergenic food. Anna says, thanks a lot for the help and inspiration. You're welcome. Irina says, what do you think about water ionizers? Yeah, they're all right. I mean, I don't think you need to have your water ionized. If you put a little bit of lemon in your water, you'll ionize the water that way. I think that's a much easier and simpler approach than buying an expensive ionizer. Christine says, my vertigo is worse with organic dates, wondering what I can use instead. Depends on the recipe. So bananas or, raw honey, it depends what you're using it for. Connie says, grateful that you're sharing the knowledge with us. You're welcome. Alexa says, I understand. I'm going to join the clans. Yay. Yay, yay, yay. Mulaney, so glad to catch you live this morning. Have missed your live sessions all week. I'm glad you're here, Mulaney. So I just wanted to reiterate for those people who are joining late that we talked about weight loss, and we talked about how you have to follow, if you're eating the right diet, you have to trust your body is following like the natural, your body's healing will be directed naturally, and you won't be in charge of what order that goes in. And it will happen with healing the stuff that's your body deems most important first, and then the energy will go other places. And usually the energy will go deeper into the organs first before it goes to my lip gloss is bleeding. Before it goes to where we think it needs to go to, like the outer surface areas, like skin and weight, usually get it at the end, towards the end. Okay, so also I wanted to say that on this cleanse, we will be talking more about weight loss. We'll be talking more about, we'll be discussing immune protocols and their immune boosting protocols that you're not going to find in, anywhere on the internet, because they're Anthony's protocols. We'll be discussing or medical medium protocols and how to put them together. Like everyone has access to the books. So it's not like I'm sharing anything with you that isn't already in the books, but what I'm sharing with you is how to put it together, right? That's what people come to me for. They don't come to me because they already know everything in the book. They don't come to me because they want to know how to put it together. How do I figure this out? How do I figure my diet out? How can I make this work for me? Because everyone's different, right? So we teach you strategies on how to make it work for you. And that's what we're doing. That's what the other night, I was just so on a little trip about our tribe and passion, and like this is family, and that's what we're doing. That's we're creating and helping you out with these strategies so that you can heal from the inside out. And if you're still on the fence, and I know I'm getting so many questions about this cleanse. This is why, you guys are asking me these questions and I can't write them in emails. Thank you. Alhamdulillah. So I can't answer all these questions via email. So what I'm doing in the lives is responding to a lot of questions that people have been asking me in the live calls. And as you can see, it's not a simple answer. It's like I go into a lot of depth with it. So I hope that these are addressing your questions. People have been nervous about it, and also when you eat raw, let me tell you, skin, hair, nails, overall how you feel in your body all starts to get so much better. You start to feel so good. And you can get there. I'm going to call her out. She's one of the most beautiful beings I know. Her name is Shweta, and you might all know her. She's on Instagram, is mindfully vibrating. And the other day she did this, like Instagram story, and she was, talking about she was like, I finally have the courage to show my face on a live. I've never been willing to do that because she said, I think my skin is healing because she was 28 days on raw and 20 days fat free and raw. And guys, if you've never done something like this, it's hard to imagine what can change for you. It's hard to imagine what will really boost you up and shift in your life. And I'm not just talking about shifting in your physical health. Life will shift. Your mind will shift. Energies will shift. There's so much shift that happens. And so, so with her, for example, I'm going to go back to it. Being able to have the courage to finally show your face on social media is beyond just physical. It is an emotional boost. It gives you so much freaking security in your body and power in your life and health and a confidence. That is what's immeasurable. That's the stuff that's like the other huge unspoken side effect of being able to do something for yourself that feels really good and you have great results. And that's what I want you to get, right? That is what we're doing, is giving you feel empowered. There's no feeling that feels better than feeling empowered and in control of your life and your health. You tell me that that's not all that we crave, right? All of us want to have more power, more support. So it's really, really an amazing place to be. Dia says, the website says you're not taking clients. Can I be put on a cancellation list? Yes, you can. So a lot of people will contact us and ask to be fitted into an earlier appointment, and we accommodate that. So our schedule is a moving target, meaning it's not set in stone until like the week of, really. So we have a lot of appointments booked, but things move around. And if someone says, I want to wait for an appointment, there are people who want to wait, and they want to wait till like they're in a place where they can really do the stuff we tell them to, because their lives are too busy up until that point. But they'll book the appointment online and it's there. So if you want to reach out to us, we can definitely accommodate that. Alexis says, take on CBD oil. I'm sorry, I can't answer that question here. Megan says, thank you so much for everything. You're truly a gift from God. You're welcome, Megan. Rhonda says, is it okay to exercise while on the cleanse or protocols? Yes, it is. It depends on what you're doing. Melanie says, can one join the cleanse after the starting date? Yes, you can. We will have it open until a few days after we begin. There's actually such a flood of people who like last minute are like, really want to still do it. Can I join? And we're like, yeah, you can. Lizzie says, I have high levels of ammonia. Other than celery juice, how do I get rid of ammonia? I have food sensitivities from ammonia, concerned about eating bananas and blueberries. Okay, so Lizzie, it sounds like you've got a really kind of complicated case. Have you considered doing a consult, like a private consult? That would really support your healing, I think. I would bring in aloe and papayas as the first step to healing the gut issues for you. Rhonda says, is it okay to continue to work out? Yes, it is. Hanea says, is it easy to do or follow the cleanse while going to work 5 days a week from 8 to 5? Yes, it is. There are many people going to work. There's not people, most of the people who are doing it are working. So we'll be talking about strategies, and there'll be a whole post on how to prepare for the cleanse as you're going about your day and your week. Renee says, I signed up. I did the first cleanse and signed up for this one. I learned so much. I wasn't able to do fully raw, and it still helped. And these are the support and recipes are amazing. Thank you, Renee. Thank you for saying that. That's what we want to do. We want to make it amazing, and so that you guys come and be like, oh my God, these recipes are scrumptious. Like if I could eat like this, I'd eat it all the time, right? And so you don't know how good sometimes a food can taste until you've experimented a lot with raw food. I mean, I'm not a trained raw food chef, but I have done a lot of training in raw food cooking, and I've done chef online courses and stuff like that, because I had to figure out how to cook for my family. Like I had to figure out, I have to do this, and I have no idea how to go about doing it. But when I first started doing raw and cooking raw, it was a whole other like ball game. And now raw recipes that come out of my brain, I'm like, oh, like, yeah, we could totally put that and that together, and that would totally help. So you can absolutely do it. Thank you for sharing that, Renee. That's really sweet of you. Candace says, I'm wondering if you happen to know. Yeah, I cannot answer any questions about that, Candace. I'm sorry. Rhonda says, is it okay to continue to exercise while in the cleanse, or should we hold up? Yes, you can exercise, but you have to really watch your system and see how you're responding to it. So you don't want to overdo anything. Dia says, do you have a supplement list for the cleanse? I have intense brain fog, and I'm wondering how to get omega-3s in me with the cleanse. I do not provide a supplement list for the cleanse. Supplement lists are in Anthony's books, so I don't provide them, but we will talk about a very basic supplement protocol that you can include. And that's very basic. So if you've not been on a supplement protocol, I do not suggest starting a supplement protocol and a cleanse at the same time. I would suggest starting with one thing, nailing that thing first, and then progressing to the next one. And if you'd like to know about an omega-3 that Anthony really recommends, he recommends Omega Zen by Nutru, N-U-T-R-U, and it's on his supplement directory on medicalmedium.com as well. Diane says, are mung bean sprouts okay to eat? Yes, they're okay to eat as long as you can handle them. So some people are okay with bean sprouts and some people are not. And some people are better with like the sunflower sprouts or the pea sprouts or the broccoli sprouts or the alfalfa sprouts. And not everyone's okay with the mung bean or the lentil sprouts, although they're still okay to eat and pretty healthy. So if you're okay with it, you can go for it. Okay, so I think we handled everyone's questions here. Can you explain why monk fruit is no good? Is it better than stevia? No, I just think of the way it's processed evilly. I think it's just not, it's not presented in its whole form. I think that's the problem. Okay, so you guys, it was so fun jamming with you this morning. And if you are, like I said, so many of you again have questions like, I want to join the cleanse, but I'm not joining the cleanse. Can you give me tips on that? I've been giving tips all hour that I've been on the call here. And if you have more questions, email support at medical medium. No, not medical medium. That rolls off my tongue. Support at muneezaahmed.com. Support at muneezaahmed.com if you have more questions or specific ones to you that you were not able to answer over here. There's 2 days before the price goes up to full price. So if you want the early bird, it's till Monday. And if, like Melanie said, she's waiting to do it, Melanie, for you, we'll honor the early bird if you come later. But for now, that's it. So it was so fun jamming with you guys. Again, I love answering your questions. I am on live tomorrow at 8 p.m. in the evening. So I'll see you then. Take care, guys.